How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make Silva bumpers. Check this out. This track has been requested tons of time and it's about time I fucking made it. Silva Bumpa is slowly becoming one of the top speed garage DJs. He's got 23 gigs lined up in just the next few months, and he's been playing shows all over Europe, Australia, and maybe even America. Silva Bumpa's DJ sets are some of the best that I've seen. He always plays really upbeat tracks and knows how to get the crowd moving. Recently, he's been putting more like house style garage out, and this is what we're going to be covering today. You might know him from his songs Feel the Same, I Don't Want You, and the track we're covering today, check this out. Here's a preview of what you'll have made by the end of the video. Let's firstly start by looking at the bass. So this isn't a conventional garage bass, this is more like a deep house bass. I'm going to start by showing you the MIDI. So even the MIDI itself is kind of deep housey. We're in the key of G sharp minor. Yeah, we basically just follow the scale up and along. So yeah, you can obviously pause this video now and copy this, but yeah, there's not too much to say about it, to be honest. Obviously the sound design is what I'd say is the important part, and yeah, today we're also working in Serum, and this is actually a preset for my Deep House Volume 1 pack. This pack has over 80 presets for making deep house. These could also be used in garage as well. But yeah, the link for that is in the description, so definitely check that out. Great, I'm going to break down this patch now and show you how it's made. Great, so in the sub oscillator we have a sine wave, but it's slightly distorted. It's going to sound like this. We'll then turn on oscillator A, go to analog, basic shapes, and make sure it's on a saw wave, then pitch it down by 2 octaves. It's gonna sound like this. Very raw. Then oscillator B, turn that on and go to analog, SQR saw. We're gonna up the unison by 4 and bring the detune to 0.12, and of course pitch that down by 2 octaves. Then you're gonna have this. So as you can hear, turning that off, down the middle, and that's making it wide. So the unison basically makes it wide and stereo, so it's no longer just in mono. We then need to sculpt this because we're doing subtractive synthesis. Turn on the filter, also go to envelope 2 and sculpt it so it looks like this. So the most important things to look at is obviously the decay and the sustain. I've got a nice bit of release, so obviously you can just sculpt it like this. Then drag that over onto the cutoff, drag that down to 80 Hertz, and then we put the envelope 2 cutoff to 47. It's going to sound like this. Getting that plucky sound. We've also selected an NG low 18. Of course, you could go for a 24, maybe in a 12, but then you're going to be letting in quite a lot of like high-end frequencies. So I settled for an 18, sort of a nice middle ground. Bring up the drive and bring up the fat. If you have a look at envelope 1, this is the amplitude envelope. I basically just copied the same as envelope 2, so it's just making it plucky. But when you're controlling the filter, it's not really going to make any difference because that's basically controlling the sound. Great, let's move on to the effects. So first we've got this compression. This isn't really doing a whole lot, to be honest. And then we've got this EQ, and we're boosting slightly at 218 Hertz. You'll notice there's a slight difference, more of a low end boost. Then we've got the distortion. We set the algorithm to ASIUM. We're using this envelope, drag that on there. So basically as the sound goes on, it's driving it more, so it's getting more distorted. And we've got that mixed down at 44%. We've then got this delay, but that's actually not really on. And you can obviously bring that up. But for this remake, I sort of kept it on 0. Then we've got another filter, so it's just controlling more of the high end. So it's basically using 2 filters. So obviously we've got this one here, and then this is another one, but obviously it doesn't have the same interface. But yeah, we've got that MG low 18 cut off at 70 and 34 on envelope 2, which is dragged on. Same with the drive. Without that, it does make a big difference. And then of course we've got a reverb, which I'm sort of controlling this here. What I've also done, which I forgot to mention, is the level of this oscillator beat is being controlled with this. That's going to be way higher, and I've brought it down like that, just so it's not as noticeably wide. I've also got this here, so this is connected to the decay, just making it a bit shorter. And yeah, I've also made this other macro, which is attached to the decay and the release. So if you bring that up. And yeah, of course, this final macro is the attached to the reverb. Great, now we've got the bass, we can work on the drums. Great, so the first thing you'll see is this kick. This is falling on every beat, standard 4 to the floor kick. Then on top we have a clap on every second beat. Then another clap. None of these have any effects on. Just to let you know, all of these drums are from my Speed Garage Volume 3 drums pack. The link for that is in the description. So yeah, the pack's got loads of top loops, so you can literally just drag these in. And of course, it's got effects, so you've got risers, you've got ragger effects, dub sirens. Yeah, of course, we've got all the one-shots, which we've been using today. So we've got rims, we've got rides, everything you need to be making Speed Garage. We've got a kick, clap, open hat, then another open hat, and then we've got a rim. So if you look at the rim, make sure you're on triplet grid. I've come to the end of the bar. If you're not on triplet grid, you're not going to be able to get the right position. So it's going to be off. It's going to be here, which isn't right. The garage swing is basically built off that triplet grid. Make sure you right click and click triplet grid before you put your rim shots in. You can also place them in different places, say like here, maybe something like this. Literally anywhere going to sound good as long as you put it like at the end. You could literally have it like here. Obviously, I'm going to keep it how it was in the original. And then, yeah, it's essential that you've got like rim shots. So these aren't just normal snares. They're basically rims, which is obviously like a snare drum. You're hitting the corner of it rather than in the middle. Because a snare is obviously going to sound slightly different to like a rim shot. So if you look at the pack, for example, they're like percussion hits, like that's a rim. You can use like rims. You've got to use like quite a certain sound. Then, yeah, we've got this top loop on top. Like without this, like we're pretty much there. But it's missing a bit of energy. Like, be fine like that. But then I always like to add a top loop on top, so. But this one, to be honest, makes it sound a little bit messy. I could have probably spent more time picking another one. But yeah, it's just like, they have more like shake and stuff. Or another thing, if your thing's too messy, you can come here and bring it back like this. It can be tighter. So before, there's a lot more mess, but then you bring it back. So I think that's going to sound better. Let's hear it. Yeah, it does sound better. So yeah, that is how I make Speed Garage drums. I always like to add a little top loop in at the end, just add a bit of character. So all the Speed Garage drums, basically the 90s or the new stuff, basically there's a lot of loops used. No one really just makes it straight from one shots because you don't really get the right sort of messiness, if that makes sense. So because this is like already been processed and then we're mixing it with our own unprocessed drums, you just basically get more like character from it. So it just helps to fill out the space. Great, and now we're gonna have a look at the Rave Stab. So yeah, I'm not sure what folder this Rave Stab's from, but a really great plugin you can use is called Rave Generator 2, and this basically has tons of different stabs. So if I show you it now, so that's obviously one, and then you can literally go through all these folders, and they're basically samples of like popular tracks. So you just drag it in. Maybe try this one. And yeah, there's literally folders and folders of different Rave Stabs, and you just drag them in like this, and you can layer them on top of each other. One thing to note though, these aren't copyright free. In terms of obviously the MIDI, obviously keep it to a single note. So yeah, I mean the MIDI for this is actually the exact same as the bass. But it sort of adds that extra layer on top of the bass where it makes it seem like it's its own sort of thing. But yeah, if you want to make Rave Stabs, definitely check out Rave Generator 2. Yeah, it's a great plugin. Great guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something new from this video, and I will see you next time. Cheers.